to ensure that I respond in a timely manner. Is that there? Oh, right. Okay. Additionally, let's talk about what and that framing that we just went through, and the opportunities that you've had to look at specific common instructional tasks or resources from the Global Humanities 7 framework, to look at ways in which you might need a scaffold, to look at how students may or may not be excited for some of the resources, and reflect. I want to make sure that we're on the same page, and I want to make sure that everything that you need to know has been identified. So you're not going to flood the chat. There's nothing to flood because you're watching me post creation. And so I just want to do kind of some true or false with you. And you can't see it. And I want to make sure we're on the same page. And so the first statement is the framework is the foundation for World Study 7 and Global Humanities 7 courses and tells me what I need to teach and for how long. The answer to that is, okay. The answer to that is true. The framework, regardless of what course you're teaching, is the foundation for you. Everything you do, you are jumping off that framework. My Global Humanities colleagues, please remember that there's that crosswalk feature for you, but you are jumping into the World Study 7, Global Humanities 7 framework for your foundation. The common instructional tasks and the common assessment tasks, known as KITs and CATs, are suggested resources to implement with students. The answer is true. They are suggested resources. They are not mandated for you to use. The beauty of those resources is that they have the skills and content already infused together. So we ask that should you not be teaching that resource, should you be adding to it, please make sure that you're still giving students the opportunity to practice whatever skill or resource that has been, skill, not resource, but skill that's been identified for that quarter and that unit. So yes, you are the teacher of the classroom. You know your students best. You know, what's working and what's not, and you might need to change what we have provided. In quarter 1 and quarter 3, I need to implement the common writing task. In quarter 2 and quarter 4, I can implement either the DBQ linked in the framework or a DBQ from the Mini-Qs binder. All right, my Global Humanities 7 colleagues. In quarter 1 and quarter 3, you have what's called a common writing task. You must implement that, and you must implement a DBQ that's been identified for that quarter. Students in Global Humanities have multiple writing points and entry points, and so you need to make sure that you are providing that opportunity and option for them. And additionally, in quarter 2 and quarter 4, Global Humanities 7 teachers, you can implement, you do have a choice. You can implement the DBQ that's linked in the framework or the DBQ binder. The Mini-Qs binder, hold on. Looks like this. I know it's backwards for you, but it's a purple binder. It's called the DBQ project. You need to talk to your RTs, your fellow PLC members, your school, because everybody received a copy of those. You have access to them, and they're just beyond fantastic. You can use those in quarter 2 and 4 as the identified writing component. You do not have to use what's in the curriculum. In quarter 1 and quarter 3, it's a non-negotiable. You must do the common writing task, and the second writing assessment that's linked in there is from the DBQ binder, so you're doing both. If you have questions on the DBQ binder, if you're unclear as to where to find it, your RT says to you, yeah, I don't know where it is. Sorry, you're on your own. Please reach out and I can make copies. I can scan them in for you. We'll make it work, okay? So be mindful of that. All right. The identified skill for each unit should be taught separately from the content. The answer is false. The identify skill for each unit should not be taught separately from the content. I've had questions about this before, and questions about like, well, hey, what if my students need more help with sourcing? What if my students need more help with writing a claim? And the answer is, okay, no problem. Give them that opportunity, give them that time. But you still need to make sure that it's not seen as a separate component, that you're not saying Fridays are for skills. No, skills are every day. Friday might be a review. Friday might be an opportunity to assess, but it's not a separate from the content. All right, here we go. I know we didn't talk about this, so I need to make sure that we are clear on this. If you need to give Kelly feedback about an upgrade to a lesson, I can fill out the feedback form or I can email Kelly. This is true and false. So if you have feedback about a lesson from the Global Humanities or World Studies curriculum and you're like, hey, Kelly, I think that if you did X and Y and Z, because when I did this with my students, it worked out really well. I want you to put it in the feedback form that's going to be linked in each unit. And let me know and say, hey, unit 1, lesson sequence 1, 7.1.1.1, here's my upgrade for you. Consider putting this into play. Fine, no problem. Please go ahead and do that. But if there's a link that's not working, you're confused about a document, you can't find a resource, something that requires immediate attention so you can plan appropriately, please email me, no problem. I will happily fix it in less than 24 hours. You get a turnaround response from me because I know it's crucial with your planning, and I know it's needed so you can move forward. So yes, please, anything that's immediate, email me. Anything that's like, hey, here's a great suggestion. Hey, look at this resource that I used. Please link it in the feedback form. It makes it easier so I can track it. And in the summer, when I make some of the larger upgrades, I have those forms so I can pull from them and, you know, in an organized manner, go through each unit and make any of the suggested upgrades that might be beneficial to all. Remember, I'm making upgrades for 12,000 students, 40 middle schools. Sometimes those feedbacks I can't put in there, not because they're not lovely and that you guys aren't doing an amazing job. It's just, it doesn't apply to kind of the whole of the scope of what I have to plan for in terms of making that curriculum. So I want to be clear on that. Me not using a specific feedback is not a slight. It's just, I couldn't use it because again, I'm planning for 12,000 plus students. And we have to be mindful of those. However, we do have a share space. So please, by all means, just upload to that share space on that MCPS website, which, you know, I should have taken you to, and I'm going to take you to in just a moment. All right. Before we actually get to that, let me see if I can save from here. This. And I'm going to take you to MCPS Social Studies, the site that I keep talking about. I want to take you to. When you're on this website, bookmark it. This is your life. Elementary, middle, high. You're going to live in the land of middle school. We have World Study 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to click on World Study 7. And you're going to see some folders that, again, you will have access to. Here's the Historical Inquiry into Global Humanities 7, which is you. Junior Achievement, which we will talk about live and in person. And then the links to each unit, planning calendars, et cetera, et cetera. When you are on the website, because I did want to show you the share space, I almost forgot why I took you here. So you can see that. This is, let's make sure it's on here. Here it is. Under Instructional Planning Resources, Teacher Share Spaces. I'm telling you right now, the groups that are doing it, they're living their best life. Really, truly. World Study 7 has one. I'm pretty sure I thought Global Humanities 7 did, so I'm going to, maybe they're just combining it together. But when you click on here, you will see you and your colleagues. Most recently, we have, you know, I know again you're watching this in the summer. We have colleagues who are constantly um, updating, upgrading, um, providing interactives, lesson scaffolds, whatever the case may be, to tasks that you in Global Humanities 7 have to do and people in World Study 7 have to do. Utilize this space. If you take from this space, please add to this space because your colleagues will love you for it. And it's just a great resource. And I think that something for you to consider, right? I just want to kind of scroll through that. A lot of Nearpod assignments on here to help people get through COVID and virtual learning, but still can be applicable to in your classroom. Some of these Nearpod assessments. So be mindful of that and know that that exists. So when I say share space, that's what I'm referencing. Get out of there. Let me move back here. So the common writing task. Again, you're going to have time to read the common writing task, to review kind of the Global Humanities 7 materials related to the common writing task, and then respond on a Jamboard. Again, I'm giving you the directions, but in your Canvas module, this is what your opportunity will be. But I want to open this up so you can see the common writing task. And the common writing task that you're going to direct students to do is which type of modification, agricultural or transportation, contributed the most to the success of the empire, the Incan Empire. Be sure to include at least 2 specific modifications under the category of your choice to support your claim. And for the modification selected, identify and explain which source provided the strongest evidence to support your claim. This is what students are going to do. There is a plethora of materials and resources. You'll notice it differentiates between student support and teacher support. Sample responses, scored rubric, scored sample responses from students, like actual student responses that you can use, how to help analyze a response, scaffolded materials for our Ls, peer editing, how students can do like a rainbow read and an edit, all there for you to help with planning for and implementing and scoring the common writing task. And so you'll have an opportunity in just a moment to go through those. Questions, again, related to it, you can put in the Jamboard or you can email me. But I just want you to have an opportunity to look at one of the tasks that Global Humanities 7, World Study 7, regardless of what you're teaching, this common writing task you are completing and implementing with your students, regardless of what you teach. This is it. This comes at the end of the unit, or close to it. I think you have one objective after it. So I want you to have an opportunity to see what it is students are going to have to know and be able to do with content, process, and product. So you can kind of start thinking, so how do I prepare them for that and move backwards in your design of planning? And so everything is linked for you. You have access to the directions, you have access to corresponding Global Humanities materials, and you have access to the Jamboard. Additionally, I wanted you to have a document that provides you a list of ESOL classroom strategies. These are great for our ESOL students, essential for our ESOL students, but awesome for all students. And what it does, it gives you reading strategies and resources and instructional strategies and resources with hyperlinks to specific material, writing strategies and resources, and classroom environment strategies and resources that you can utilize with your Ls, but also would be just fantastic for your Global Humanities or your World Studies students. That, remember, not all of our students learn in the same way. Just because they're categorized as a Global Humanities student doesn't mean that they wouldn't need supports for reading, writing, accessing text, figuring out what it means to be in a classroom and creating the essential environment for students as well. So again, a resource for you to have, for you to look through, for you to keep in your records. We use this in social studies, and we have updated and hyperlinked for you specific examples of some of the suggestions that we have provided. And then last but not least, if you have feedback, you're thinking, well, I have questions about that common writing task, Kelly. Great. Here's a feedback form for you to complete. It's in Google, and I can check it, and I can get back to you either specifically because we are collecting your emails, so I can email you back, or I can just do a general if it needs to apply to everybody. But again, this was an opportunity for you to see the framework, understand where you as a global humanities teacher fits into that framework and course load, for you to see the crosswalk, for you to have access to reviewing resources and materials that were there, to understand what the non-negotiables were of your course, and then also to have an opportunity to process one of the culminating assessments of quarter one and provide feedback or ask clarifying questions should you need to do that. I am always available. I can always be reached at my Outlook address. You're always welcome to give feedback, always welcome to ask questions, always please welcome to ask me to come out and plan with you. I can come to your school, or the beauty of, looking at the great thing about virtual instruction is that now we know we have access to Google Meet and Zoom. So should you need me to set up a Zoom call with you so I can help with planning, that's an option for you as well. But just know that you have somebody, you're not running solo. And if I can be of any assistance or support, again, please feel free to reach out. I hope that this kind of basic, giving you an opportunity to really focus you as to what you need to do to help prepare you for the school year and your planning was useful. And again, it was great to have this opportunity to share this information with you, and don't hesitate to reach out. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to stop our recording, and I wish you all a great school year. Take care.